Hello Internet! Right here, as you can see in my hands, I have a handy dandy Xbox 360. I'm going to be getting this set up very soon for Black Ops 2. I had Hector send over my things from Chicago. He sent my computer, my camera, everything that I needed to do all of this. But this isn't even my Xbox 360. I don't know whose this is. Somebody's, I don't know. But I don't have Black Ops 2, so I need to go out and get it. But today, that is okay, because I am about to tell you guys one of the most embarrassing stories that I could possibly remember that has happened to me in my entire life. Now, I think I've told you guys one before, which was on YouTube, and it was all about me crying in 7th grade because I got caught cheating on my math homework. But this is honestly way worse. I believe I've told this at least like one time on stream, but I might have been drinking a little bit of alcohol. I was just hanging out and people were asking me questions, so I told this story, but it's been a while. So I'm gonna give you guys the rundown. You guys are gonna think I'm absolutely pathetic. Maybe you'll laugh. I hope you'll laugh, because now I'm 22 years old, I can sit back and look back on that and actually laugh about it, just because I was just so hung up in my own head when it actually happened that it traumatized me for 4 years. But that's neither here or there. Let's get straight into the story. So for my entire life, I've always been a sports fan. I played golf, basketball, I wrestled in high school for like 1 year. I love football, I love baseball, I played baseball in grade school, all that stuff. I play sports, I love sports. Now it doesn't mean I'm very good at sports, like I'm very average at most, but it still doesn't change the fact that I was always watching SportsCenter growing up with my older brother. I just love everything about competition in sports. So just to give you guys a little background, from 4th grade to 8th grade in grade school, I played basketball. Like I said, wasn't the best. I was on the B team. I tried my best. I had a lot of fun doing it, and it's just something that I look forward to every day after school, going to practice and playing the games, some days on weekdays, some on weekends. You know, just the thing when you're younger. You're playing with your friends, you're doing what you love, you're having fun, and that's really all basketball was for me at the time. Now keep in mind, throughout my entire life learning how to play basketball, I was always on the shorter side. At one point, my mom actually had to bring me into, I think it's called an endocrinologist, to get testosterone shots because they were afraid that I wasn't growing and maturing at the proper rate that everybody else was of my age and in my grade. So as I was learning to play basketball, my shooting technique was always terrible, and I grew that habit, and I was never able to shake it. So like when I shoot a basketball, take it from the side, and I don't really do the flick of the wrist motion. It was just never something I was able to do when I was younger, so it was always me just like pushing the ball up, and I still do it to that day. If you watch professional basketball, they'll have that awesome rotation on the ball. It'll rotate backwards. Mine's kind of like a knuckleball. There's no rotation. Sometimes it gets in net, sometimes it doesn't. That's alright, as long as you're having fun. So like I said, I was on the B team from 4th through 8th grade. I played with all my friends, and finally, as I grew up a little bit more, I was still around like the same height. I was probably like 4 foot nothing. I weighed like 90 pounds. It was absolutely pathetic. But it was time for me to grow up, because I graduated 8th grade, I made it into high school, and it was time for the end-all be-all in my mind. It was time for me to go to the freshman basketball tryouts and prove to everybody, like, hey, I know I'm small, but I can play defense really well, and I'm really quick, and I can do these things, and I can make this team. I'm gonna try my best, and I'm gonna do it, you know? That was when I was really younger. My mom and dad were, yeah, of course, they're encouraging me. They were like, you know, you're really good, do your best, have fun, just go for it. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna give this a try. So honestly, I remember it like yesterday. Trials were from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the rec gym at high school. And I was always really self-conscious when I was younger. So like I said, my parents were encouraging me, but I was always really apprehensive doing anything that involved social situations. Anything that involved like coaches or other kids or anything that had to do with me leaving my house always made me really nervous. But I stepped out of my comfort zone. I showed up on Friday and I went to practice. Now, I remember it pretty specifically. I believe Friday was all about conditioning, and then Saturday was all about like fundamentals, and then Sunday was everything wrapped into one. It was like defense, offense, knowledge of the game, all that different stuff that you would expect that they would see if you had that in your repertoire to try and get onto the team. So Friday went really well. I believe I was in pretty good shape at the time. I went to like the last half. So they had conditioning before they actually had tryouts for like 12 weeks. And I didn't find out about the conditioning until like 6 weeks in. So I made it to like the last 6 weeks of the conditioning. So by that time I was able to get into pretty good shape. And I was beating out like a good majority of people like with like my stamina and all that stuff. But that's not really important. If you don't know how to dribble and shoot the ball, then you're not going to make the team. So Friday went really well. I believe some people got cut on Friday. Luckily, they didn't call my name, so I was like, dude, I might really have a shot. Like, this might be it for me. I might actually make the team. Saturday morning comes around. I go to it. Things go all right. I believe I made a few mistakes in it, and I still did my thing, and I wasn't sure what the coaches were thinking. I was always really worried about what was going through their heads. Like, are they being judgmental? All these different things. I just overthink a lot. So Saturday wasn't the best day, but I still got through it, and it just so happened at the end of the day, they didn't call my name. So 2 days go by. I'm making it into the final day of tryouts, and this is absolutely fantastic. Like, in my head, I'm freaking out because I'm just thinking like, oh, dude, I'll make a lot of friends when I'm on the basketball team. I might be able to be part of the popular kids. Side note, it's not important at all. Don't ever think like that, but that was just my mindset when I was in high school. But yeah, made it through the first 2 days, and I was ecstatic, dude. I ran home, told my parents, like, yeah, I'm still in it, we're still good, we're still good, we're still good. I'm so excited, I'm so happy. And then around like 9 o'clock at night, like it kind of hit me. Like I was going into Sunday and this was it. I was about to find out the next day if I was gonna make the basketball team, the high school basketball team, something I've been thinking about forever. So Sunday rolls around and they're doing like full court scrimmages. So they're taking everybody that's left in the tryouts, they're putting them 5-on-5, you're going full court, you're playing. And as you guys played, like the assistant coaches were helping with everybody and reffing the game, and then like the head coach and the assistant coach were calling people aside to let them know if they made the team or did not make it. So little Matt Haig, little Nadeshot's doing his thing. I'm going up and down the court. I'm draining a few shots, dishing it off, getting a few assists. I'm looking good. I'm feeling really good. I definitely wasn't the best on the court, but I definitely thought that I might have been just maybe good enough to make the team. Like I knew I probably would have been the worst one on it, but I still I just wanted to make the team. I wanted to do it. I wanted to prove to myself that I could. I don't care how small I was or against all, I just wanted to make the team. So as I'm playing, I'm rotating in and out of the games, on the sidelines, in the game, you know, back and forth, and I see all these people getting called and they still haven't called my name, and the anticipation is really building at this point. I just don't know what is going to happen. Like the fate of my high school career in my head was dwindling right there and then. Finally, the coach calls my name. So me, like, excited as ever. I figured since I made it through so many names and I was one of the last ones that they actually had to call, I was good. I was gonna make it. So I run on over, you know, just so ridiculously excited, like so stoked, and just everything that I've wanted so badly was finally about to happen. So as you guys can imagine, you know what comes next. Coach puts his arm on my shoulder, gives me a little tap, and he's like, hey man, you did a fantastic job, and we're really impressed with the amount of tenacity that you showed up to these practices and these tryouts and how much passion that you have for the game. But there just doesn't seem to be a spot for you on this team. Do you guys want to know what happened next? Do you really? I don't think you guys do. I burst into tears. I couldn't hold it back, man. I'm a really emotional guy, and for me, that was the moment, like, everything just came crashing down, and I don't know why I did cry to this day, but that's not even the worst part. So I'm shedding tears, and this coach is just so incredibly embarrassed that this is happening. Like, he's not embarrassed. Like, obviously, he was a really compassionate guy, so he was like, don't cry, man. Like, I'm telling you, this is not that big a deal. You did your best, and that's really all that matters. You know, just a normal thing. And I can't stop crying, dude. I cannot stop bawling my eyes out. He decides, like, we need to get this kid out of here or he is going to be embarrassed for the rest of high school. I just really wanted to be on that team. So takes me by the shoulder. We start walking towards the exit at the gym. That's not even the worst part. As we're walking by, I completely forgot that as they were doing basketball tryouts, they were doing women's volleyball, girls volleyball tryouts in the other court, like 2 courts down from the other gym. So we had to walk past all of those courts to get towards the exit, and every single hot freshman girl, every single one was on that court playing volleyball, and it's like the whistle stopped, I'm walking by, they're on a break, and every single girl is staring at me, just crying my eyes out as I walk out of the gym. Dude, that was one of the most traumatizing experiences I have ever had. I have not told that story to anybody. Every single girl in grade school that I had a crush on, every single girl that I had seen like for freshman like orientation and like the first couple days that I had never met before had seen me just crying walking out. It was the worst situation that you could possibly imagine that I got myself into, and I'll never forget it for the rest of my life. Now, obviously, hindsight is 2020, and to be honest with you, I don't know if that kind of hurt my reputation in high school, but to be quite honest with you guys, I really don't care. I still had a lot of friends in high school. I met a lot of people that had the same interests as me. I don't really talk to a lot of them anymore, but I still had a decent high school experience. But I just want you guys to know, like, if something like this has ever happened to you, just know that high school is, as soon as high school ends, it's over. Like I was watching Mini Lad, he did a Q&A and somebody asked him about high school and he said it best. As soon as you graduate, like that chapter of life is over. Like it's closed. Like nobody cares 2 years from after that what happened in high school. Like I promise you guys, like at the time it was really embarrassing and I was just so afraid to go to school like the next couple weeks, but it didn't matter. Like high school is high school, and that's it. It's 4 years of life where you're just participating in these classes, and it's over after that. Like, it's really not that big a deal. I just want you guys to know, like, if high school sucks for you, it gets better. Like, that was a terrible moment for me, but it still, to this day, doesn't bother me at all, dude. I've grown up to be a completely different person than I was in high school, and the person I am today is so different from the person that graduated. Like, even from graduation until now, like, I've changed completely. So, don't worry about it. But I had to share that embarrassing story with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, if you could propel that like button, I'd really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. And YouTube, we'll see you fudging later.